Story time. What will it be? It's called story time. I made a little beat called story time. Let's watch and be your story time.
Did I really just do that?
Welcome to Story Time. I know, a very unique and original name, but this is a series where I tell you stories about my Mexican struggles and just about my life in general. In this episode, we're going to be talking about a topic that everyone just can't get enough of, a subject that everyone has to talk about. You guys read the title, you guys know what it is. Sex, yeah, bring some extra tissues to this commentary if you want to, but just stay far away from me. I'm going to be talking about everything about it, you know? The oral, the anal, the ear socket, the eye socket, the nostril. You know, I'm going to be talking about the whole 9 yards of this. So if you're not prepared, be prepared. And before you guys start thinking anything, no, I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about an experience that I overheard in class one day. So I had to talk about it. You know, this has been on my mind ever since I heard that conversation, which is weird. Actually, it has not been on my mind ever since I heard this conversation. Okay, that sounded awkward. But no, I just wrote it down on my notepad to talk about it later, and this is why I'm talking about it now. Hopefully, that makes it less creepy. And just to give you guys a little bit of backstory on how this all happened, my school has 9 periods a day. No, it doesn't bleed into special parts, but it has 9 class periods a day. One of the classes being absolutely useless and a waste of time is advisory. What advisory is just a class period, a 50-minute class period that shouldn't even be in the school schedule. And since this class period is 50 minutes of nothing, I have to sit in a room with probably 20 other people and listen to their obnoxious chatter. So by having a 50-minute class every single school day, I could obviously pick up some stories here and there. And that's exactly what I've done. I picked up some very interesting, weird, awkward stories from just overhearing these loud, obnoxious students in my class. But you know what? The good thing about advisory is that I could share these stories with you guys. And this story just so happens to be an advisory story. There'll probably be many more storytime episodes of me talking about a moment in advisory, but this is something just out of the blue. This is just way out of the blue. Out of all the chatter I've heard in this class, I've never heard this type of conversation before. Something so deep and, you know, is this what the kids talk about nowadays at school? There's these 3 girls that sit in front of me in my advisory class. And I don't know how this all started. I don't remember. But it was pretty quiet in the class. You know, there was some other people having another side conversation. It was nothing too loud, but it was kind of on the quiet side. And I guess these 3 girls just decided, you know what, it's a safe time to talk about this. It's not too quiet, but it's not too loud. So maybe we could have a girl talk, and hopefully the guy sitting behind me doing absolutely nothing can't hear our conversation. And there was another girl that wasn't a part of this conversation and another guy that were sitting right next to me. So I'm pretty sure they heard the story too. But they just went out of the blue and started talking about sex. I mean, they just started talking about the straight up pounding. Like, that's a thing. I mean, let me describe these girls for you, okay? All 3 of these girls, they're like, what, 5'1". I don't know exactly, but they're a lot shorter than I am. And one of them is kind of chubby. The other has braces. And the other girl is like 20 years old and still in high school. I mean, I guess you could be proud of that, right? But the chubby little girl, well, she's not little, she's my age. She started the conversation about saying,
"Oh, yeah. Oh, my first time, I thought it would be different, you know? You just, 3 pumps and that was it." And I was like, really? That sucks.
And then they just started conversating amongst themselves about that.
Like, yeah, I thought it would be different too. Like, it only lasted 1 minute, and
they were talking about the first time, but then the 20-year-old didn't have any input on that because she hasn't done it, even though she's 20 and still in high school. Matter of fact, the 20-year-old really didn't have any input on this story. She was just there listening like I was. So basically, it was just the girl with braces and the chubby one that were talking about this. And the girl with braces wasn't only talking about getting it in her sugar wash. She was talking about, she was talking about that. And if you don't know what I mean by that, well, she basically meant she was giving her boyfriend all kinds of slurping and jerking.
Yeah, like totally. I sometimes just like look at him in the face, and I go all the way down, and he like jiggles a little, and I feel him shake, and it's just I go all the way down, and sometimes he kind of makes me choke by like pushing it in, and it's like, oh, I know how to make him do this and do that with his penis, and make him squirt so fast, and sometimes I just lick the back of it, and it goes crazy, and yeah, I'm not a slut though.
That's basically how the whole story went. Yeah. And recently, she said she broke up with her boyfriend because her boyfriend broke up with her because she followed another guy on Twitter. What kind of messed up world do we live in where that's actually a thing? I mean, come on. And the sad thing about it, the girl actually wants to be back with her boyfriend. Like, I mean, I guess if you want a guy who beats you in the relationship when you're married, go for it. You're going to have a splendid life. So any girls out there watching this right now, which you probably aren't, if you want to give your boyfriend or some dude you just met a little, make sure you don't have a Twitter, and make sure you don't follow other guys on Twitter, because he might get jealous and might make you pregnant somehow. And before I end the commentary, I would just like to say, how would it feel to get a blowjob from a girl with braces? I mean, that's probably one of the most dangerous things you could possibly do in all of your life. What if it accidentally cuts you, and it cuts the huge vein on it, and you just start bleeding everywhere? It's just, you're fatally wounded forever. Your penis is broken forever. You can't use it anymore. You can't even pee through it anymore. It's just limp. Ever thought about that? I don't even know if that's a possibility, but if it is, be careful. I hope you guys enjoyed my sex blowjob story that I overheard. And there will be many more story time episodes to come. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.